welcome back to the late game. This is episode 3 at the end of day 3. I am joined this evening by Sunsfan.
Hello.
Hello. And Cinderin.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Good job.
Let's all cheers our glasses. That's what we do. That's the tradition. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming.
I'm going to get so drunk off this Coke Zero. Delicious.
There's an empty chair here because, of course, we are going to bring out another guest later. But first, I want to chat to you guys. I've been asking everybody this just to get things kicked off. Favorite TI moment? Doesn't matter if you were there, you're watching from home, whatever. Favorite TI moment?
From all TIs.
From all TIs.
That's pretty easy for me. I'll let you start.
When you were eliminated?
Yes. The best moment ever. I was so happy. Like Artesia, I just love getting owned, you know.
I'll say, most people would think I'd say TI 6 because we got second place, but I actually say TI 3. The Alliance Na'Vi finals was quite memorable. For sure.
So wait, you preferred watching that to DC coming second?
Oh, it was painful to get second to get to the finals, and then we picked Slark mid, which I'll never forgive them for that. Like, good Lord.
What were you thinking? Because obviously you're watching that from afar. I mean, were you just like, oh my God? Like, I'm pretty sure I was in the booth watching that with you, actually, like in the little area.
I was in I went up to just get the actual experience for one game.
And it was that game.
I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it anymore. So I went back into the dungeon, the locker room of the old Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah.
And just wallowed as we lost 3 out of 4.
But it was fun while they lasted, right? I mean, it was a great run. Surely.
It was a great fluke. Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't say fluke. I didn't use that word.
It's okay.
So
it's okay.
How long have you guys been casting together now?
Is it Captain's Draft 1?
Yeah, that's probably the first thing we did. 2014?
Yeah, something like that.
I think. So it's been a little bit. So we did that, and then we did Captain's Draft 2, and then we did other stuff. You did DC. I started playing again.
Yeah, when I first met Cinder, and it was TI 2, I think, I approached him. He was this long, lanky dude. I was very socially awkward as well. He had a British accent back then.
He was talking to me about that earlier, actually, because I said that he doesn't have a particularly strong Danish accent, like Malk or someone like that has a much stronger accent. And you told me that you used to affect this kind of British accent. Did he actually do that at TI2?
He did. I actually didn't remember that until I looked at a video of him and me, like from years ago, like recently. But
I don't use the word cringe very much. But when I listen to my own voice, just in general, it's kind of, most people don't like listen to their own voices.
I don't like listening to your voice either.
I hate mine,
Your voice is terrible.
Yeah, yours is too, but that's fine. But listening to myself from back then, that is cringe for me. My 2011, 2012 casts, interviews, everything, they don't exist. Don't look for them. You can't find them.
On YouTube.
I took them all down for copyright infringement because I have a different accent now. So it was someone pretending to be me.
Oh, it was an imposter synth.
Yeah.
Were they winning games? That's how I'd be able to tell. Anyway.
Probably not. Let's be real.
I didn't come on here to be roasted.
Of course, dude. In 2013, you actually retired. So not long after TI3, you retired. But you did then go on to play for 10 more teams.
That's quite a retirement.
So what's up with that?
It was temporary. I think a lot of Dota players have been through that cycle. You reach a point where you're like, okay, the motivation isn't there. There's something else I want to explore, something else I want to do. So I decided, okay, it was time for me to try to cast as exclusively as that thing, and I was streaming a lot more at the time. And then, you get hungry for the competition again. Maybe you see an opportunity, you get a moment. And I ended up coming back and playing, and about a year later, I did get to TI 6. So it was definitely worth it for the ride again.
Yeah.
After that, it was kind of a struggle for a year or two. Tried some different things. It didn't really work out. Unfortunately, TI 7 qualifiers didn't go great for our team. We were boot camping in Sweden. I'm trying to remember. I think it was in Stockholm. Anyway, with Crescendo, with actually 2 ex-TI winners, Aki and EGM on the team.
Yeah.
But we didn't really gel. That's how it is. You can have some great players, but if the synergy isn't there, if everyone isn't up to par, it's tons of things. So unfortunately, it didn't really work. And then the next years didn't really go too well either. So yeah, I went through some different iterations, tried some things, but clearly the most successful team and the most enjoyable team was the TI 6 one with
but you don't regret
someone who's
any
now
of
top
this.
3.
Yeah, I've actually got a list of all this is just a selection of the players that you played
Before you
with.
say this, can I just say I sometimes refer to myself as Puppy's Talent Factory. So you can go ahead and let's see how many you've got on there.
Okay, so I didn't pick everybody because there's so many players. Sokshka, Seb, Era, Fogged, Yapzor, Hanskin, Kezu, EGM and Ake, Tomato, Weeha, and many more.
Weeha?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When?
2018, I think. That was a team with Weeha and Tomato on it. I don't remember all of my teams by heart, every iteration, but yeah, that was another one of those teams where I think overall, like, the skill was not the problem. It was how we meshed. And, Dota is an extremely complex game, so you see it here at TI as well. It's honestly crazy how some of the teams that get some of the bottom placements, you're like, oh my god, these are like world-class players.
Yeah.
But you also see similar trends sometimes in sports, right? Like a reference I like to do sometimes is, I don't know if I'm not very much into football, so correct me if I'm wrong here, you are.
Yeah.
I think about 10 years ago, Real Madrid made some really big purchases. They got in like multiple superstars, and then the
Galacticos, that was like mid-2000s era, yeah.
Maybe
in
more
around
than
that
10
era,
years ago. Maybe it was
2000s,
15 years ago. But they made some like big purchases, and then they just got worse. Like everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is the best team ever.
They should be winning everything."
Everything." But it's about having the right mix of people that set each other up, work well together on a personal level, everything, all this stuff. And honestly, in Dota, there's kind of like an element of luck, right? I'm sure you can attest to that. Like DC going into TI6,
all skill.
It was. You guys just suddenly hit the most insane momentum spurt, right?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest momentum shifts I've seen. I remember the specific game actually with Rezo on Morphling backdooring some barracks in the group stage, and from there it was pretty much smooth sailing. We end up losing to Wings, who is the one team that we were crushing in scrims to the point that they got into a fight, apparently just rage quit pre-TI 6 or whatever the hell that was.
Really?
Yeah, we crushed them real hard.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that makes me feel a bit
So
worse
you were excited for the final. You were like, we know these guys.
Yeah, because we lost to them in the upper bracket, and it felt like we made some major mistakes that we wouldn't normally do.
Right.
So I thought that we would correct them, but we picked Slark mid instead.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how I think in this way, there's like two different types of getting crushed going into TI, right? There are the teams that get crushed and learn from it, and then there are teams that get crushed and just go in with bad morale. Because I've been on that side. Going into TI2, MTW, we were considered one of the best teams in Europe. Like, a lot of people had us top 8, maybe top 6, and our boot camp was just awful. Like, Seb and Kebab almost got into a fist fight. The morale was really bad. Like the conditions, the way we were eating, the way we were sleeping, like all of the surrounding stuff that matters, that teams are a lot more understanding of and have a bit like, we've come a long way since 10 years ago.
Yeah.
In terms of like understanding how much external factors matter.
I mean, in terms of a long way, Sind, those players, those were just the ones I listed.
Yeah.
They have a total career earnings of $11,877,348. That's just those guys.
Yeah.
Do you want to know yours?
No.
Okay.
I don't. So
it's 11,800,000. No.
Oh, yep. That sounds about right, actually.
But it's less than that.
With interest,
Slightly.
all of them. Whenever I make teammates join my team, they sign a contract that I get 5% of their lifetime earnings as interest. So
Really?
sounds about right. That
11 million sounds right if you do it in Iranian rials, I'm pretty sure.
No, that's in dollars.
Seb has won quite a lot of money, for example.
Yeah,
so
he was like kind
checks
of an
out.
outlier in that list, I must say. But so, I mean, like someone like Yapsor, okay,
Right.
who's like this amazing player. I love watching Yapsor play. How did you get into a team with him? Did you find him?
Yeah, so at the time, Yapsor was, I think, from my perspective, the single best player in EU that didn't have a team at the time. I literally just discovered him in EU pubs. I was like, okay, this guy has insane mechanics, really good, especially spell casting, I thought was his biggest strength. And funnily enough, later on, he gets like world renowned for his Rubik, right, which is all about spell casting. That's literally all that hero does. But I remember very vividly, I had this, I think I played either against him or watched a game with him. He was playing, I think at the time, mid Lishrak. I think Yapsor was actually playing a lot of mid. And I was just like, this guy's hitting every spell in this game. He's hitting every split earth without setup. He just knows exactly what he needs to do. Super good player. So I was like, okay, we're making this team. Do you want to have a shot? Let's see how it goes for TI6. And obviously we ended up qualifying. So I was super excited.
And now he's
right?
top 3 at TI.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He deserves it. He's
brilliant.
extremely talented.
Right. I've got a little game for you guys to play really quickly. It's called the Naval Game.
Okay.
All right. So,
We're not going swimming, right?
no.
Okay.
There are 17 heroes in Dota that have an exposed navel.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, naval, not naval.
Navel, as in belly button.
Got it. Okay.
So I want you to try and name them, and as you get them right, we're going to bring them up on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, so try and do it. Just chuck one out there. And
Are we
we'll
going
see-
back and forth? Or?
You guys can just guess between. Yeah, I don't know the answers to this either.
Are we
so
working together
We
or
can all
against
work
each
as a
other?
3, or you guys can
It's
go
really
as a pair.
important Cinder knows the rules, or else he's going to keep asking questions. Okay.
Is this
Okay.
a competition, or are we trying
No,
to beat the game?
we're just trying to beat the game.
We're working
collectively.
together. We're not
a
very
team
good
on
at that.
this one.
We're not very good at working
okay.
together. But
Tide Hunter.
Here we go. Is Tidehunter on the list?
I'm assuming that's a no. Naga Siren.
That's
Oh
a
my
no.
God,
if it
that's
doesn't
not
come
good.
up quickly, it's a no.
Naga
Okay.
Siren. Yes.
Wow.
Axe.
Well, certain cosmetics.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
there we go.
Okay.
Pudge.
Okay. Pudge.
Pudge must do. Yeah, Pudge has to be one.
It's a lot of strength
Apparently
heroes.
not. Maybe he's just got rotted belly there.
Well, I guess he
There's
doesn't have an exposed navel because he doesn't have one anymore. He's
Yeah,
just
it must
a-
Do
be
mounts count?
No mounts. That's too easy.
Naval mounts.
Queen of Pain.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
a good
yeah,
one.
that's true.
Definitely Quap.
Lena? Question mark?
Oh, Queen of Pain's on there. Yeah, Melina could be on there.
Lena's default model has a dress covering everything.
We got to
right?
think
not
of
in my
which
mind.
heroes. Lena's a no. Which heroes are not wearing anything?
Alchemist for sure.
Yeah,
Alchemist for
that's
sure.
Wait,
Apparently.
is this alphabetical? Because then he's the first. Okay, that's a
Okay,
hint.
that's good.
That's a hint.
I knew you'd try and break the game somehow.
I'm such a boring person. You should. why?
Ricky.
Every hero I'm picturing, like Brewmaster, seems naked
Oh,
in my
Brew.
head.
Brew's
Is-
good.
Is Brew
Brew
one
for
of
sure.
them?
Brewmaster's a good shout.
Absolutely Brew.
Brewmaster's a
Yeah.
good
He's a
shout.
fat drunken guy. He's
Yeah,
got.
he's
okay,
on there.
apparently.
No, Brewmaster.
I'm 0 for 8.
You're thinking of me when you say fat drunken guy with his belly hanging
No,
out. but
you're
no.
very skinny. I'm
This,
thinking
game,
of
bless
myself.
you.
this game's broken. Brewmaster's definitely on there.
He's a no.
Troll Warlord? Question mark?
Troll Warlord. The big board says no.
Ricky.
I already said Ricky.
Oh, shit.
What about Witch Doctor, maybe? Witch Doctor? You guys do suck at
We're
this.
pretty bad.
No Witch Doctor.
I use a lot of cosmetics. I don't know what the
Oh.
default models are anymore.
Can we bring them up? We're going to bring them all
right,
up.
all right.
Okay,
Let's
we're going to
see.
bring them all up. You guys, we got 5.
That's not bad.
All right, let's
pretty good. Pretty
reveal
good.
the correct answers, please.
I hope Ricky is one of them.
Just a sec. Just a sec. The big board is just thinking.
They're editing it. Brewmaster was on there. They're
Not
removing
editing
him
it.
now. Okay.
Bounty. Okay.
Juggernaut, Leshrac. Oh,
I should have got
Should have
Eng.
thought of naked heroes. I didn't
Should have
think
thought of Eng.
Grimstrick. Puck.
Oh, D has a belly button?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I was thinking Windranger. I was sure she was
Oh,
covered
yeah.
up there.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
because she's got the
Venge,
cut out
Venge
bit.
is very true. I should have known Venge actually.
Oh, well.
Oh, we're very good at this.
You
so.
know what? Talking of heroes, shall we get our next guest out?
Oh.
Does
No,
that seem
absolutely
no?
not.
Okay,
No.
never mind. We're just going to
You're
move.
getting
No, I'm
everyone
gonna get him
hyped. They
out.
think you're going to announce a new hero now.
Oh,
No, I'm
that's-
talking of our hero.
Our
It's
hero.
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, can you come out here, please?
KBBQ.
Jack, the newest int hero. Very smart.
No, he's
Pretty-
going to sit. You're
he's-
going to come and sit right here, Jack.
Pretty agile too.
Welcome.
How are you?
Thank you. I'm okay. I think.
Would you like a drink
Yeah,
before
sure.
you finish that thought?
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you.
It's been a long time since I put on this headset or makeup, so I'm still getting used to it again. It's been years, actually, but
We miss you in the talent scene, my
Yeah, we
friend.
do.
thank you.
You're
Thank you.
part of the best Phil of all time, Captain
Jack, you
Strap.
usually say "I miss you too" in those situations, not "thank you."
That's true. That was quite rude of you.
Like I said, I'm still getting used to this. I haven't had the honor or the pleasure of being on We Say Things either, so this is,
Oh, that's true.
this
Oh,
is.
you're trying to get a twofer here.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's right. I'm just wink,
Plugging
wink,
our podcast on TI.
Okay, wow.
I thought it was only Slacks who was going to pimp his own stuff, but
That's
actually,
true.
That
you
was
might as well buy
shameless.
everybody voice line too while you're at it, right?
Oh, I don't, see, I was disappointed that no players used my line, but I also completely understood. Like, it's not a good one for pro players to use.
that's one of my favorites.
That makes
I really
it good,
liked
though, I
yours.
feel like.
Yeah.
Huh?
It makes it good that it's not good for them. That's why I thought it'd be like a meta thing.
I didn't even put that much thought into it. And now I've come here and you see everybody's lines, and I was
Right.
like, damn, they were so smart.
Damn, I should have done voice chat wheel line. Why didn't I come up with
that
that
one's
one?
golden.
Jack, do the
That
players
one's
talk
golden.
about this kind of stuff? Like, when they're scrimming or when they're just hanging out, are they
Yeah.
talking and like, dude, this line is sick, we've got to use this one?
Yeah. There's definitely some discussion of, this is Mimi, this is good, but there's also this like taunt factor. So for instance, like I think Mojo found the Dove line, and he was like, oh, if we play AG, we're definitely going ham. And then somebody else played them and got to it first, and we're like, come on, someone was going to think of that,
Yeah,
So
right.
there's definitely this like kind of meme and in your face value to it, especially if you have Mojo who's an aggressive tipper / all chatter. You're definitely looking for those things. Yeah.
It doesn't really match how he is in person. He's such a calm, friendly person, but then in game he just flicks a switch.
Dota changes people.
Yeah.
Can I ask why
changes
only
Jack
one of
quite
your
a lot.
players bought my voice line, Jack? I thought we were better friends than this.
Well, I only promised to plug your show. I can't do any more than that. So
That's
Very
fair
good
enough.
answer.
Fair enough.
So you've been managing Quincy Crew now since 2017 when they were VJ Storm, right? VGJ Storm. It's been pretty much the same roster. There's a few changes and everything, but it's basically the same core team. You must be very close to these guys by this point.
yeah, it's been. I mean, I never had brothers and sisters growing up, and I think in some sense they've kind of taken the place of that. And in some sense, like, what could be more cool than feeling like you're trying to literally conquer the world or beat the world with your brothers, right? So I've watched them kind of grow a lot, change a lot as people. That's happened to me myself. We've had our share of like conflicts and all that, and that's the part of it that's like very fulfilling. Like, I've always liked being a part of teams and wanted to be a part of the team, and that's kind of why like the talent stuff is different. It's fun in its own way, challenging in its own way, but that's why the team stuff was so interesting and trying to win, trying to climb that mountain like every time.
Is there anything that you learned that you didn't think you would have to learn about the process? Because I know it's like kind of a grind to some degree, right? Especially when you're doing your own org.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, obviously there's like the nuts and bolts of, whatever, how to deal with sponsors, all these things. But I think, how to be at times like a big brother, how to like show like tough love when you feel you need to, how to think about long term versus short term, because there's so many trade-offs. Like, you can see a problem in something that takes years or whatever to maybe deal with or get to the place you want, but in the short term maybe you can't. So there's all these kind of little trade-offs that you're thinking about, and then just. I think one of the toughest parts is you get to know people really well, but that also means that you might get to see like where you think some of the limits might be, like strengths and weaknesses of someone as a person. And that's really hard because you want to believe, all the time that everybody can be the best at everything and they can grow in unlimited ways, but it's hard to make those decisions, and sometimes like players have to be let go, you have to make those changes. It's really heartbreaking to have to do that. So especially if you don't win, you don't climb the mountaintop. There's always these situations that teams and players are in where you're kind of waiting for this great fiend at the end of each TI. You're going to wait for certain dominoes to fall, and you're kind of just sitting there waiting to see what happens. And if you're a manager who's on the player side of things, which I am, rather than the organization side, I mean, the ground beneath your feet is very unstable. Like, you could just not have a team next year.
I want to ask you just quickly, I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to come back to the fiending thing in a bit because I think that's really of interest to a lot of Dota fans. How do you cope? What is your process for dealing with a loss? And I mean, like, getting knocked out of TI is a prime example. What do you do? Like, what is the process? What is the first thing you do? Where does it go from there? Talk us through it.
I think, personally, I try to remain calm. I don't think it's, like, even if I feel very emotional stuff, I usually try to keep it to myself. So I don't really think it's my place to really go out of my way to be super emotional about things. You don't really want to say or take anything that comes to mind because it's such an explosive situation potentially. So you just want people to be calm, and if they need to be comforted or they want to talk or whatever, that's fine.
You've got to be that rock, right? Like, it's no good if they come back and the manager is crying and all that. You need to be that rock for them. That must be tough.
Yeah, I think so. And for this group especially, I mean, I could not be more proud of them. Again, I feel like in some sense I've like seen them grow up over the years, and everyone's paid such a high price. I tell people, like, personally, like, I've missed many of my close friends' weddings for this, and for them they had other offers they could have streamed. We're talking about top tier teams that have come to offer them over this time. They had other choices, and they chose to stick it through for this tournament, for this event. So yeah, it's tough.
Maybe I should get back into that because I really hate going to weddings. So, I mean, it's like the worst.
That's one way out,
That's
I guess.
one way out of weddings.
It's a really good excuse to use.
That's a good point, too. You can grow with the team, right? Like he talked about. I feel like we can work together as much as we want. You're not growing at all. Like, nothing's on.
Do you guys want to know what Cinder and...
He just cut you right off. He's been the same.
I mean, he's proving my point immediately.
TI3.
I don't need to...
He's been the same the whole time. It's like 8 years. In fact, you become grumpier.
I mean, that's what happens when you get older. You can attest to this to some degree, at least.
Jack, am I grumpy?
Don't you miss
that?
There's hesitation.
avoiding this landline. don't you miss that though? Don't you guys miss that aspect?
I do.
Of it?
Obviously, I'd get back into it if I got the chance, but because I learned a lot. Like I'm sure you have as well. But sometimes it just doesn't work out with, well, I guess I can't go into the details, which I have before, but the ownership was the other ownership, not me, Pyrian, in case you're wondering.
Dude, I'm not like you. I don't look for the cynical things. You know?
Yes, I understand. I appreciate that. But yeah, I agree that it opens like so many doors. You learn so many new things. You learn how to interact with people on a more personal level. I don't think I would make a very good life coach personally, but a good experience overall for sure.
Any news from, because this is what you were probably most familiar to a lot of people on the scene. You were talking about how you used to be on panels and stuff like that. The biggest thing I used to love as a fan of European and NA Dota was that you would give us all the gossip about the Chinese Dota scene, and you had all the memes and all the rest of it. Do you still keep up with that side of Dota?
Not nearly as much. I had the fortune during that time of actually living in Shanghai for like a year, and so I was hanging out with the casters. We go to the karaoke. Like China and Shanghai especially had a very centralized sort of esports scene, so people would be in the same circles, like in the same areas, and so you hear a lot of things. You learn and hear a lot of memes. It was fun. It was tremendously fun, and so that was perfect for that time. But since then, I think just been entirely focused on our team. I haven't really just looked as much at that stuff. And also, there's a certain, some of the better ones are like really, really savage. And I think when you've been on the player side a bit more and you're kind of thinking about the sacrifice. Yeah, you think about the sacrifice that people go through. Yeah. And then also in China in particular, how much pressure some of these players are under. Like if they do poorly, people threatening your family and stuff. It's hard for me to kind of embrace that meme side as much.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Yeah.
It takes the fun right out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
God damn. Let's come back to the Fiend. Now, this is something we're all aware of, right? You've been a part of these, I'm sure.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah. This is after TI finishes, at the after party or wherever the after party is, all the players gather around. Jack, tell us all about it.
Yeah, I call it the Great Fiend. I can't really think of any more fitting name for it, but there's an after party usually somewhere, and you go in and you see all these conversations in dark corners and all these like furtive glances. It's like some twisted Dota dating game.
It looks really shady.
Yeah,
because they're all sort of whispering and pointing at people, and you think,
yeah.
And every time you go to a new group, Bulba just seems to be there. It doesn't matter what he's just always there.
But my favorite part is Sam is there, but he'll also tell anyone what's going on. So I'll turn up, and he's like, "Period, get this." And I'm like, what is he telling me?
He tells everybody everything.
The crazy thing is, when the after party is over, Bulba has a team of like 25 players. It's amazing.
Incredible coach. My goodness. What a god.
He would be
the strat.
He would be the poster child for the Great Fiend, absolutely. You go in and you hear like, you go in at the start of the night and you hear certain rumors in certain groups, and halfway through or by the end of the night it's like entirely different. It's great. It's fun. I just happen to love this sort of fiendy gossipy side of things, especially when it comes to like Dota and teams, because there's so much like thinking and what could be and all that. So I've always really enjoyed that.
The viewers would love that. That's why we're going to televise the Fiend this year. It's going to be broadcast live.
Reality show style.
You should. It really is.
We've had a small window into it, right? When there was it one of the after parties where they were streaming the concert?
Yeah. Oh god, Katie Kate.
Yeah. So you could see who the players were like dancing with. That was maybe a little bit of a lead. Bulba was not on the dance floor though. He was in the corners.
People were saying, "Why is so-and-so talking to so-and-so?" Like detective. Yeah. God damn. So Jack, other than Quincy Crew, obviously going out of this international, what do you see going forward now that you're going back? How do you regroup? How do you get the guys back on their feet? And what's the plan?
Well, I mean, to be entirely honest, the first step is surviving the Great Fiend. Because, depending on what situation you're in, I think if you're a team that does really well, obviously, we've been in that position where we had most of a stable roster left and we had to fill one spot, and you've maybe have sponsors or whatever lined up. And you've also been in a position where there's like a lot of sort of uncertainty and you have to wait to see what happens. So yeah, the first step really is just weathering that and then seeing what you have left to go with and, trying to take it from there. So it's hard for me. I can't really promise anything. And there's also this factor of, I think, in Dota, it's so easy to like lose faith in other people or your teammates or whatever. And so it's a big deal. And it's not easy for people to have faith and believe in each other for years. Like there really has to be something in each other's character and all that you really see and value. But also, there aren't that many teams that stay together for that long, and that if you don't do well, you don't feel that your ceiling is necessarily increasing or whatever, it's hard to get people to continue to want to come back for that. So that's certainly a challenge that we face, and we'll see. We'll see. Maybe you'll catch it on stream or something.
So I'm just trying to think back on the last many years. What is a roster that stayed together through thick and thin for like 3 years, and then all of a sudden it clicked and they started getting really good again? Has that? I'm trying to come up with an example.
What's the Greek team? What was the Greek team called again?
Ad Finum.
Ad Finum.
That's as close as you can get, right?
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah,
2.5 years, and they had an explosion at Boston Major.
They got a second place at a major, and then they stayed together for a while, and ultimately they ended up at least
They did become something
somewhat
else
separating.
after Ad Finum.
Yeah, they got a Mouse Sports.
They had a Mouse Sport, yeah.
Was it
They
Mouse-
became Mouse Sports for, I want to say, half a year.
Yeah.
Didn't really go too well, and then that kind of split off. But it's interesting because I think, a lot of the time when the fans come with their comments, they're like, oh, I'm sorry you guys didn't do so well at TI. Please stay together. I love your team. And, there's the only thing the fans really see fully is what happens on the screen. And all of that other stuff behind the scenes, if they knew a lot of the stuff that was going on, they would be like, okay, guys, you need to split up immediately. Don't stay together. Whatever you do, find something else, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, it's a little bit of a weird parasocial thing, especially with streamers, where people feel like they know players better than they actually do and know them better in relation to their teammates. For example, if you watch a stream of someone on Twitch, well, when they have their teammate on the stream and they're playing together in pubs, they're fooling around, having fun, having a good time, right? But when it's crunch time in competitive Dota and it goes badly for a month, that relationship might look totally different than what people remember.
Yeah.
So their perception of what's going on in the game is just miles away from the truth, and that's worth remembering sometimes, I think.
It's interesting as well. I can't think of any other sport where, other than esports, really, where the players decide who's going to be on the team. Like,
Right.
Can you imagine that in any other sport? Like, they're just saying, we don't want to play this guy anymore.
NBA kind of these days. Right?
Yeah, a little bit with the
Like,
super team stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the super teams get together, but it's not the same freedom
Right.
that the Dota players
I
have,
knew it would
for
come to basketball with you two guys. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read your blog that you started doing in about 2011.
Oh, wow.
I went through like 10 posts of those.
You've got to be the only one. Thank you so much.
There were no comments. I was tempted to leave if you said, good job, Jack, from the future.
I would have thought it was spam, but thank you. I
No,
appreciate
it would have been me. But yeah, I thought they were good. You wrote really well, dude, because you used to be you studied journalism and stuff like that. And your review of Anchorman 2, excellent.
Oh, how many stars was
I
that?
don't-
He hated it.
Oh.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Well, the second
hated
one
it.
wasn't that good.
Let's not talk movies with Sans Fan.
That's-
He doesn't know.
That's so ancient history that I don't even remember the movie, let alone the review. So.
It's a long review.
All right, I'm going to have to
That's
stop this conversation just to ridicule Mr. Cinder in here. How many times have you guys seen The Matrix?
Oh, like a billion times.
Oh, it's like one of my flight go-tos for sure.
One time when he was 12.
And
It was good.
it was good.
Never again, not on a
I haven't
flight.
seen it again. No.
Wow.
I got very angry as Pyrian is now, just hearing that.
I'm
just,
furious.
I
That
can
clank was
leave.
slamming
me.
down my glass in anger.
I can go. We
No,
get someone
you
else
got
on.
to. I'm making you stay there
Oh.
in the cold. With
He's
me.
just a robot. We were talking in the cast the other day. His favorite color is purple, and he couldn't think of a second color. I was like,
Okay, no,
I actually, the second,
that's not what you asked.
That is true.
You didn't say Sin, mention a
No.
second.
To be fair, whoever
asked
asked you
you-
what your second favorite color is, that's
No,
was-
yeah,
I was
I
think a second
everybody
favorite.
had. If you think about it just for a little bit, mine's orange. Okay.
Wait, is that your favorite or your second
No,
favorite?
my favorite is purple. Second is orange. His is purple, and because he's a robot, I think I've actually figured out his second favorite color is runtime error.
No,
What do you think? Andrew?
No, I was ridiculing you because I was like, who asked? Have you ever been in a conversation before that one where someone's like, what's your second favorite color?
Yeah, at
like you go on a
TI-10
dating
main
site.
stage,
Imagine you're on
normal.
a dating site, you're in a conversation with someone,
Yeah.
and you ask, what's your second favorite color? That person will be like, this person has literally nothing to talk about. No personality, no interesting traits. I'm just cutting it
But
off and
that's
talking
what
to
makes
someone
it
else.
so funny. That is the genius behind it. I did it at TI main stage. Who the hell? What kind of stupid idea is that? That's horrible. Horrible content. But when it's so bad, it becomes good.
Do you think that's kind of your whole thing? that
I
you
am
have?
so bad at everything. Eventually, it becomes good. Yes. That's
I love
my
your
belief.
guys' cast, and I think it's really funny. And you guys have like this relaxed style that I really like. Do you like them casting?
yeah. Oh, yeah, a ton.
A ton.
Wow. Thank you, Jack.
You're
And Pyrian, of course.
Well, yeah, I never get. Look, that was an after.
Was
I'm
I-
your second favorite.
Second favorite right here. Yeah.
yeah.
Jack
The
only
mixture
said
of,
because
the
the
mixture
camera's
of
wrong.
wisdom and wit that you guys have is. They told me to say this. I forgot the words. Right.
All right, if you had to give percentages on wisdom and wit between us, where would
Oh,
you?
boy.
What's the distribution there?
I mean, I think.
Keep in mind, he has only watched The Matrix once. Go ahead.
I mean, this one's pretty clear. The wit is pretty heavily Sun's fan favorite, and the wisdom is
He's funnier than me.
over here.
I'll take it.
I mean, I guess he means like relative to yourself, the percentage is like 100-0.
See, robot.
He has to break it all down. Jack, I just want to ask one more question from you here. And I obviously realize this is a tough time to ask it. But what is your favorite TI moment across all the TIs that you've seen? What is the one moment that stands out? Whether you were there, whether you were watching from home, whether you were behind the scenes, what is your favorite moment?
I think there's one thing that comes to mind. There are just these like ridiculous things that happen sometimes. Usually like TI, it's pretty. You go, you practice your heart out, and then you go play. I think one of my favorite moments is we were in Shanghai at TI9, and we were at a team house that Newbie had provided for us to play. And at some point, there was like some like water going like down the stairs, and then so we weren't sure what was going on. Then like Snaking was like upstairs or something, so we sent Snaking to just go check it out. And he was like, "Don't worry, it's fine, guys." So he comes back downstairs, gets back to his computer, and then we notice that there's like more and more water dripping down the stairs. So Curtis and I are like, I don't know if I can depend on Snaking here. We go upstairs to the third floor, and we see that there's water just flooding in through the rooftop. This is like because there's like a hurricane, right? But we didn't realize that one of the drains was like clogged at the top of the stairs. So then Curtis and I are like, "Oh, holy crap!" So we go up there and we have these like buckets, and we're just like bailing water off the rooftop of this house to like keep it from like flooding. And like meanwhile the players are still in like pubs or like a scrim or something. We come back down and we're all like, we're all like super tired and exhausted. Like, "Oh, we finally got it. We unclogged it." And they're just like in the middle of a Dota game. So that's something that I
So
always
who was
remember.
more
It was just
stressed, you
crazy.
guys or them in the Dota game?
I don't know. Actually, I'm actually surprised that they kept their calm and kept going because you're about to be flooded under pretty
Dedication
soon.
right there.
Yeah, that's
That's
how
the
you know.
ultimate test.
That's how you know they're locked in. And we made a couple Mega Creep comebacks at TI, made up bracket, paid off.
Nice. Well, Jack, thank you so much for that. Thank you for coming on. I know it was very tough
Get outta
coming on
here,
here,
Jack,
but
for
thank
God's
you.
sake.
You're going to stay there while we say goodbye. Thank you, Sin, for coming on. Really
Get out of
appreciated
here,
it.
Cinderin.
And this guy came on as well. That's going to do it for our show tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night after the main event. Thank you for watching. Thank you to the guests once more. Take it easy. See you tomorrow. Wave, everybody. Goodbye.